Welcome back. In this video, I'm going to introduce you to a very special exercise. It was created through the intuition of a brilliant physicist named Lester Levinson after he was sent home to die in 1952 with a severe cardiac problem. Now today, we could imagine creating this exercise based on what's known in modern psychology, cognitive science, and neuroscience, and so on, but none of that information was available back then. It was truly just a brilliant stroke of insight that seemed to not only correlate with Lester's heart being healed, he lived until 1994, but also a profound transition into fundamental well-being. The method itself is very simple. While Lester was lying around waiting to die, he thought about his doctor sending him home to do just that. And he realized that this made him very angry because doctors are supposed to heal us, not send us home to die. Of course, cardiac medicine was in a primitive state in the early 1950s, and realizing this, he also realized that his doctor had most likely done all that he could. He probably didn't enjoy sending a patient home to die. Lester felt certain that his doctor most likely got into medicine to save lives, and this forced a realization and a perspective change in Lester. As part of that, he felt his anger towards the doctor change to love and compassion. The change from anger and resentment to love and compassion felt great, and Lester had nothing but time on his hands, so he began to test it with other memories from his life. And this became the basis of the method that we'll do starting in this session. Lester's version involves systematically calling up memory after memory and transforming the emotion of each into love. Some memories were quick, and all he had to do was bring up the memory and mentally ask, can I change this into love? Others took more time, sometimes much more time and effort, to get switched over. As I mentioned, ultimately, this produced a profound transition for him into fundamental well-being. In Lester's case, he was literally just lying there waiting to die. We have a lot more to do. He had a lot more time on his hands than you do during this program, right? So we're going to use a modification of this method that's a bit more time sensitive. However, if this deeply resonates with you, you might consider using his original version of it on the most significant negative memories, specific memories from your life. It's worth noting that it's also worth trying on some of your most positive memories, ones that aren't associated with love. To optimize using this method for maximum impact with less time commitment, rather than working with memories, we'll be working with collections of memories called people. If you think about it, in your mind, a person is really just a symbol or an object, and like a filing cabinet or a database. The symbol contains or interconnects all of your memories, thoughts, emotions, associations, and so on with a given person. Some of these will be negative and some of them positive. Think of a person right now. It can be absolutely anyone. Just bring someone to mind. It could even be me. Now, how does that person feel? What feeling do you get when you think about the person? When you bring that person to mind, what's the feeling that just simply arises along with thinking about them? It's very simple, isn't it? Just call someone to mind and then pay attention to how you feel when you're thinking of him or her. That's the first step of this exercise. Just calling someone to mind and seeing what you feel. The second step is to ask yourself if you can switch or change the feeling that shows up when you call the person to mind into love, or if the feeling itself can transform into love, and waiting a moment to see what happens. Of course, when you're asking this, you're placing an intent more than you are asking a question. You're saying, in effect, I want to change this feeling into love. It's fine to ask it more than once and see what happens each time you ask, but this is the basic process that you want to go through. Now, for some people, this is going to be all that it takes. That feeling is going to turn to love, and then you can move on to someone else. For others, it might not be that simple, and you might need a third step in the process. The third step is to generate love while thinking of the person, and we'll discuss that in the next video.